Success is not an accident, it's engineered. It's the inevitable outcome of the habits you design and reinforce into your life. Because no matter how grand your goals are, how massive your vision is, or how much raw potential you carry within you, if your daily habits don't align with that vision, it will remain just a dream. Most people say they want success, but they live by habits that guarantee mediocrity. They talk about winning, but they don't act like winners. They talk about change, but continue in the same patterns. They set goals, but stay trapped in cycles. They make plans, but their actions contradict progress. The truth is, your habits always win. They will either build you or break you. They will either match your potential or sabotage it. They will push you forward silently or pull you back without warning. You don't rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your systems. And your systems are simply the collection of habits you live by daily. That's why hoping for success isn't enough. You can't wait for discipline or depend on motivation. You have to design a life that makes success automatic. You have to build a foundation so clear, so stable, and so consistent that no failure can destroy it. No distraction can shake it, and no setback can stop it. And that foundation is built through habits. Not through dramatic shifts or overnight changes, but through consistent, intentional actions that become second nature. Because habits don't just change what you do, they change who you are. They reshape your identity. They rebuild your beliefs. They turn you from someone who wants success into someone who expects it, lives like it, leads like it. And once a habit is locked in, it no longer drains energy. It becomes a part of who you are. It starts to carry you. You stop negotiating with yourself. You stop debating every decision. You just show up, you execute, and you follow through. And when that kind of execution becomes your normal, your results begin to compound. You make progress faster than you imagined, because now you're not relying on bursts of inspiration. You're powered by consistency. You're not wasting time starting and stopping. You're moving forward without interruption. The people you admire, the ones who seem built different, who win consistently, they aren't special. They simply built better habits. They made better choices. They trained themselves to think, act, and live differently. And those habits aren't a secret. They're available to you right now. You can choose them, you can install them, you can condition yourself to operate at that level. But it starts with responsibility. It starts with a willingness to unlearn the habits that got you here and replace them with ones that will take you where you want to go. This isn't about adding more to your life. It's about subtracting what no longer serves you. It's not about perfection. It's about alignment. Creating a system of behaviors so aligned with your vision that your habits carry you even when motivation fades. Success isn't something you chase. It's something you attract by becoming the person worthy of it. And that version of you, the high-performing you, is built habit by habit, decision by decision, day by day. The first critical habit, the one that will define your success more than motivation or even discipline at first, is the habit of owning your time. Because how you treat time shapes everything. Your results, your peace, your progress. If you waste time, you give up control of your future. If you master time, you create unstoppable momentum in every area of your life. Yet most people act like time is infinite. They act like more hours, more days, more chances will always come, but they won't. Every hour you waste is gone forever. Every morning ignored is a missed opportunity. Every evening spent zoning out is a chance to grow that slipped away. You have to stop treating time casually. Winners treat time like a sacred asset. They protect it. They don't give it away freely. They don't let others control it. Because their life depends on it. Yours does too. So how do you build this habit? Start with clarity. If you don't know what matters most, everything feels urgent. If you don't know your real goals, you'll get pulled into distractions. You need a daily rhythm that puts your highest value actions first. Not the comfortable ones, not the urgent ones, the ones that actually move your life forward. Carve out time for them. Lock it in. Make it non-negotiable. That means waking up with intention. No more snooze button. No more reacting to the day. Start your day with ownership, not with distractions. Don't begin your morning with emails or social media. That's how you surrender your focus. Give yourself space to think before the world pulls at your attention. Even 30 minutes of intentional solitude can change the course of your entire day. That's not just a routine, it's a weapon. And once your day begins, time management becomes the habit of saying no. There will always be something that wants your attention. But just because it's urgent doesn't mean it's important. Just because someone wants your time doesn't mean they deserve it. Just because you feel busy doesn't mean you're being productive. Productivity isn't about doing more. It's about doing what matters. That means you must identify your highest value actions and build your day around them. Set blocks of deep work, remove distractions before they arrive, and be brutally honest with how much time you waste. Because we all have the same 24 hours, and the people achieving more are simply using theirs differently. Audit your time. Track it. Look at how much of your day is aligned with your goals versus how much keeps you stuck. When you see the truth, don't try harder. Build better habits. Schedule what matters. Create anchors in your day. Reduce decisions, because every decision burns energy. Successful people don't make 100 little choices every day. They make a few big ones in advance. They eat the same meals. They pre-plan their weeks. They create rhythms that make execution automatic. That's not boring. It's freedom. Because real freedom comes from structure. If you want to become great at anything, you need uninterrupted time to practice it, to think, to build. And that means you must protect your time like your life depends on it. Because it does. And when you do that, when you show up consistently for those focused windows, everything begins to shift. Your work improves. Your energy lifts. Your confidence builds. Your clarity sharpens. You begin to respect yourself because you're no longer drifting. You're no longer just getting by. You're intentionally building a life of meaning. And the more you do it, the more natural it becomes. What once felt hard becomes second nature. What once felt like effort becomes automatic. Because your habits are now aligned with your future. Your time is now serving your growth. The second critical habit is mastering your focus. Because time without focus is still wasted. You can show up, but if your mind is scattered, distracted, fragmented, you'll spend hours working and accomplish nothing meaningful. The world is noisy, always buzzing, always distracting. If you don't protect your focus, you'll live your life in pieces, 10 seconds here, 5 minutes there. You'll lose days without even noticing. Focus is the new currency. In a distracted world, focus is a superpower. It's what separates creators from consumers, movers from drifters, winners from wishers. And you can build that superpower if you choose to train it. This is the difference between those who execute and those who only talk about executing. You cannot reach your potential unless you learn to fully, deeply, and consistently direct your attention, because your attention is the gateway to your mind. What you focus on expands, what you ignore withers. What you feed grows, and most people are feeding the wrong things. They're feeding distraction, they're feeding worry, they're feeding fear. They're giving their best attention to low-value inputs, and then they wonder why their results are average. You must take control of what you let into your mind. That means filtering your inputs. That means eliminating the noise. That means saying no to distractions, to shallow conversations, to habits that keep your mind busy but never make it better. Because if your mind is full of clutter, there is no space for vision. If your thoughts are fractured, your decisions will lack power. If your attention is divided, your results will be diluted, so you must train your focus like a muscle. Begin with a simple rule. Eliminate multitasking. You think you're doing many things at once, but you're not. You're just rapidly switching tasks. And every time you switch, your brain loses momentum. It takes time to ramp back up. You lose speed, you lose clarity, you lose presence, and over time you lose your edge. Focus means going all in one task, one priority, one intention at a time. It means blocking time to go deep, not wide. It means giving your best energy to your most valuable work, not to what's easy, not to what's urgent, but to what truly matters. And for that, you need environments that support your focus. You need physical spaces free of distractions, mental clarity free of chaos. You need to be clear on what your highest value work is, and you need uninterrupted time to do it. This is not built in a day. It is built slowly, one focus block at a time. And the more you do it, the easier it gets. You begin to enjoy the depth. You begin to crave the clarity. You stop needing the noise, because here's the truth. The world has trained you to be distracted, to chase novelty, to check your phone every few minutes, to drown in media all day. But that wiring can be undone, and it must be undone if you want to do meaningful work. So start small. Build the muscle block. 25 minutes for deep work. No TV, no interruptions, one task, full intensity. Then rest. Then repeat. Build up, expand your capacity. Learn what it feels like to go deep, and once you taste it, once you feel the power of momentum from sustained focus, you will never want to go back. You will start protecting that space. You will start craving the quiet. You will begin guarding your mind like someone who knows its value, because your mind is your greatest asset. And if it's always scattered, always reacting, always pulled in 10 directions, you will never reach your highest level. But if it's trained, focused, and present, you become unstoppable. You make better decisions. You move faster. You notice the details others miss. You produce work that's not just efficient but excellent, because now you're not just showing up. You're arriving with full presence, with precision, with power. And when focus becomes a habit, your entire life sharpens. Your conversations improve, your relationships deepen, your thoughts carry weight. Your actions create impact, because you're no longer scattered, you're grounded. So do the work, rebuild your attention, create rituals that protect your focus. Say no to noise, say yes to depth. Train your mind to concentrate, to lock in, to go all the way. Because the person who can focus in a distracted world will always win. The third critical habit for lasting success is the habit of managing your physical energy. Because your body is not separate from your goals, it is not a side note. It is the vessel that carries you through everything. And if your energy is low, your standards will drop. If your body is tired, your mind won't be sharp. If your system is weak, your performance will crack, no matter how ambitious you are. You cannot produce high-level results from a depleted system. You cannot expect focus, clarity, consistency, execution, or confidence from a body running on fumes. Yet that's how most people live. They grind through exhaustion. They fuel themselves with caffeine and stress. They operate in survival mode, and then they wonder why motivation crashes, why their mood swings, why their consistency collapses. Your physical energy is not optional, it is essential. It is the foundation beneath every other habit you build. You can have perfect time management and laser-sharp focus, but if your body is breaking down, your foundation will crumble. This is not about being a fitness model. It's not about obsessing over health. It's about realizing that your body is your performance machine. It's about treating it with the same intensity you give your goals, because your body influences your mind. Your energy shapes your thinking. Your physiology drives your psychology. The first habit you need is movement. You cannot sit still all day and expect your brain to stay sharp. You were not designed for stillness. You were made to move. Your brain thrives on oxygen. Your posture influences your confidence. Your blood flow powers your clarity. And if you don't move daily, you're sabotaging your capacity before the day even begins. You don't need hours of training or to be a Bodybuilder, you need a consistent system of daily movement, walking, stretching, lifting, moving with intention. Something that gets your blood pumping. Something that activates your system. Something that signals we're here. We're alive. We're ready. This isn't just about exercise, it's about energy. It's about creating a physical state that supports focus, discipline, execution. And the more consistent you are, the more natural it becomes. Your body starts working for you, not against you. Then there's sleep, the non-negotiable foundation almost everyone treats as optional. But your brain cannot recover without it. Your hormones can't balance without it. Your creativity, discipline, memory, emotional control, all of it depends on quality sleep. You cannot hustle through sleep deprivation. You can't cheat your system. You can mask it temporarily, but it always catches up. And when it does, it's not just your energy that breaks. It's your consistency, your habits, your momentum. So treat sleep like a strategic asset. Create a nighttime routine. Protect your sleep window. Cut out late night screens. Train your system to rest deeply and consistently. Because every day you wake up exhausted, you start with a deficit. Then there's fuel. Your nutrition. Your body is a performance tool. What you feed it determines how it functions. And most people are putting junk in their system and expecting elite results. They eat for comfort, not clarity. They eat for convenience, not energy. This isn't about dieting or counting every calorie. It's about choosing fuel that sustains you, that keeps your energy stable, that balances your mood, that preserves your focus. Because you can't build momentum if your energy crashes. Every afternoon you can't be consistent if your mind is foggy. You can't lead yourself if you're always in peaks and crashes, and you don't need perfection, you need intention. A few key changes: more water, more protein, more real food, fewer chemicals, fewer sugar spikes, fewer things that pull your energy down. You need to build recovery into your rhythm. Because success isn't about going full speed every day. It's about managing intensity. It's about knowing when to push and when to pause, when to go all in and when to recover. Because recovery is not a break from success, it is a part of it. You cannot sustain high performance without rest, just like you can't build strength without breaks between sets. You cannot build long-term success without space to reset. So build habits that allow you to recharge, to unplug, to breathe. This could be walks, meditation, reading, screen-free time, reflection, anything that calms your nervous system and resets your energy, because the calmer you are, the clearer you think, and the clearer you think, the better decisions you make. You don't wait for burnout to force rest. You schedule recovery like you schedule work. You make space to renew so you can return stronger, because this is what it's really about. Resilience, longevity, consistency, because success is not what you can do in a day. It's what you can sustain over months, over years, over a lifetime. And that's not possible without high energy, without systems that support performance, without a body that matches the demands of your goals. The fourth critical habit to lock in success is emotional regulation. Because even if your time is structured, your focus is sharp, your energy is strong. If you can't manage your emotions, you will break in high-pressure moments. You will make impulsive decisions. You will react instead of respond. And one emotional outburst can destroy weeks or even years of progress. Your emotions are signals, not problems. They are not your enemies. They are messengers trying to tell you something. And if you don't learn how to hear them, if you don't train yourself to respond instead of react, your emotions will drive your life off track. Most people are emotionally reactive. Something upsets them and they lash out. Something goes wrong and they spiral. Something triggers them and they lose discipline, clarity, and control. Then they say things they didn't mean, do things they regret, and spend days cleaning up a mess they didn't need to make. You cannot live at the highest level if your emotions run the show. You cannot grow consistently if you're a prisoner to your moods. You must become the kind of person who feels everything but still chooses their response. You don't suppress emotions. You regulate, master, and channel them. That starts with awareness. Emotional reactions are often unconscious patterns installed long ago. Unless you slow down and observe, you'll keep playing the same script on repeat. But you're not your reactions. You are what you choose. Growth begins when you pause in the space between stimulus and response. That tiny gap is where your future is shaped. Most people react immediately and emotionally, but when you pause, even for one breath, you gain leverage. You step back. You ask better questions. You create space to respond from your highest self, not your wounded self. This is strength, not weakness. Emotional regulation isn't about becoming cold or robotic. It's about being stable and grounded, so that when life throws chaos at you, and it will, you don't shatter. That emotional stability gives you the power to lead, execute, and evolve. You stop wasting energy on emotional messes. You stop destroying relationships with outbursts. You stop sabotaging yourself because your emotions got too loud. But this work goes deeper. You must also manage the subtle emotions. Frustration, resentment, disappointment, shame. These don't shout, they whisper. But if left unacknowledged, they fester and eventually explode. That's why you must check in with yourself. What am I really feeling? Where is this coming from? Is it about this moment or something older? You learn to name it, feel it, and create space for it without letting it control you. You use journaling, walking, breathwork, or reflection, whatever brings you back into your body, your breath, your clarity. The goal is not to escape emotion, but to master your emotional process. Stop bottling it up. Stop exploding. Stop bouncing between numbness and overwhelm. Find the courage to stand in emotion without drowning in it. When that becomes your default, when emotional regulation becomes your habit, you make better decisions. You lead stronger. You attract peace. You reduce conflict. You align your thoughts and emotions so they support your growth. Because most of your setbacks weren't from lack of knowledge. They came from emotions you didn't manage. Regret, fear, anger, insecurity. Heal those patterns and your resistance dissolves. Regulate your emotions and your consistency doubles. You're no longer ruled by your worst moments. You're guided by your clearest self. The power of keeping promises to yourself. The fifth critical habit is keeping promises to yourself. This is the foundation of self-trust, the root of real confidence, the proof to your subconscious that your word matters. Without it, nothing else sticks. If you don't trust yourself, no goal list, book, or vision will work. Because when you've trained yourself to break your own word, to quit when it's hard, to negotiate when it's inconvenient, you lose the internal authority needed to build a powerful life. Most people ignore this truth. But the way you build trust with yourself is exactly how you build it with anyone else. Through action, through follow-through, through consistency. Not talk, not motivation, not hype. You say you'll wake up early, do you? You say you'll eat clean, do? You follow through? You say you'll change. Do your behaviors reflect it? Because every promise kept makes you stronger. Every commitment honored, especially when it's hard, proves you're evolving. You're showing your subconscious, I do what I say. And every promise broken chips away at that identity. When you say one thing and do another, you teach your brain that your word is flexible, that your vision is negotiable, that your discipline is optional. This is why so many people feel stuck, not because they don't know the path, but because they don't believe themselves. They've betrayed their own word too many times. So even when they commit, there's a quiet inner voice saying, you won't follow through. But that voice isn't permanent. It's programmed, and it can be reprogrammed. Not with grand gestures, but small, consistent wins. Don't try to overhaul everything overnight. Start with one promise, one action, one tiny commitment, something real and manageable that proves I'm doing it. Maybe it's 5 minutes of journaling, 10 pages of reading, drinking water, a morning stretch. It's not about the action. It's about the identity it builds. Because when you keep small promises, you rebuild trust. You reshape your self-image. From someone who quits to someone who finishes. And once that shift happens, everything changes. Discipline gets easier, motivation sticks, confidence grows. Not because everything is easy, but because you've shown yourself you'll do the hard thing. You must become the kind of person whose word is law, not to others, but to yourself. Someone who doesn't accept half effort, who doesn't let moods dictate performance, who leads themselves with integrity. This is not punishment, it's power. The kind of power that comes from inner alignment, from knowing your thoughts, actions, and direction are all in sync. And when that happens, your mind goes quiet. Guilt disappears. Internal conflict fades. You're no longer negotiating with yourself. You're in flow with your mission. And others feel it. They trust you because you trust you. So ask yourself, what promises have I broken? Where have I let myself down? What goals have I written, then abandoned? And what if I change that, starting now? What if your word became unbreakable? What if every commitment turned into execution, every intention into reality, every promise into identity? That's not fantasy. It's a decision. It begins now. Not with a massive overhaul, but with one small promise, kept with excellence. Repeated until it becomes identity. Because that's how you transform. That's how you rewrite your future. That's how success is built. One habit, one day, one kept promise at a time.